the full circle of Shurpanaka's one-sided negative love. That's what Kamban has portrayed here. So first there is the enthusiastic build-up. Unlike Valmiki, the Shurpanaka seeing Rama's beauty, she herself becoming a beautiful woman, all that very, very enthusiastic build-up. And then her passion, very possessive and very perverted. There is both possessiveness as well as perversion in her, in the way she expresses her lust or love to Rama. And then the agony of loss when she knows she is not going to get Rama, the desperation, and the desperation turning into vengeance, and then she plotting to seek revenge. So this whole gamut of emotions Kamban has built up in a very, very absorbing style. Sitaram Gunagrama Punyaranya Viharinau Vande Vishuddha Vijnanau Kavishwara Kapishwarau Naranan Vilayattellam Narada Munivan Kura Aranak Kavidai Seidanar in the Valmiki என்பான் தேரணி சோழ நாட்டு திருவருந்தூரில் வாழும் காரணி கொடையான் கம்பன் தமிழினால் கவி செய்தானே. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It's a blessing and a great fortune for me to be participating in this wonderful 3-day Valmiki Ramayana conference with Mahabhavas as the major theme. So before we get into my talk, I want to make a small comment about this whole thing, Virodha Bhava. So in the invitation, in a circle, various bhavas were given: Sakya Bhava, Dhasya Bhava, Madhurya Bhava, and Virodha Bhava. But if we really think about it, I think coupling this Virodha also as one of the values in the bhakti context is predominantly to make it into a full circle and nothing else, is what I tend to think. It's more for enumeration rather than as a prescription. So when you conceive Sri Rama or Sri Krishna as the Parabrahman or the Absolute, every value, whether it is positive or negative, should always, come to them. So whether you have a negative or positive feeling towards the Absolute, it ultimately cancels everything and zeroes in. So this is why at some point they brought in this philosophical line of thought of including Virodha Bhava also into this. So originally, if we see Ramayana and Mahabharata, the difference between dharma and adharma is very clear. Even in the Gita, there is a Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga. Instead of talking about all the samashatrocha mitrecha, equanimity between enemy and friend, everything, in the end, Sri Krishna clearly says there are people with Daiva Sampat and there are people with Asura Sampat. It is the very nature of the world and it is going to go on like this. So this is how the Itihasas were laid out. But slowly when we come to the Puranic narration, the example of Kamsa was given in the previous talk. So slowly you start turning all these Asura characters also into some kind of Bhagavatas. Okay, they were also thinking about the divine in negative terms. So they also practiced some kind of a Virodha Bhava. So in the Bhagavata, there is Kamat Gopi Bhayat Kamsaha Dveshat Chaidyadayo Nripaha. So gopis attained the Lord through their love, Kamsa through fear, and Shishupala through enmity. So as if giving some kind of a vague impression that the gopis' love and the Kamsa's enmities are kind of same. But I think that's a very wrong idea. And then the story of Jaya Vijaya also came into existence, where the entire Ravana and Kumbhakarna were Jaya Vijaya reborn. And then the Shishupala and Dantavaktra, Jaya Vijaya reborn. So this has kind of given a very confused thinking about Virodha Bhava. I humbly want to submit this thought. So it's in the quest of making an absolute. So when you have a concept of Parabrahman, the absolute, They also wanted to somehow neutralize all the negative characters, so created this Virodha Bhava. It's okay, it has a value. I do not deny its value, because ultimately Hindu Dharma is perhaps the only religion in the world where there is no duality about the God and the Satan. So everyone is part of the Parabrahman. So in that sense, it has a value, but not in any other manner, is what is my understanding. And with that, I want to start my talk on Shurpanakha and Rama. The Shurpanakha episode is a very small episode, which is right in the middle of the Ramayana. It is, she comes only for a very brief time in the whole of Ramayana episode, but it gives a very important turning point to the whole epic and pushes it further. Because had Shurpanakha not arrived, Ravana would not have abducted Sita, and the Vanavasa would have peacefully completed in the forest, and the Ramayana would have just ended with 3 kandas, and that's it, everything. So that way, this event is very significant, though it's very small. And apart from moving the story, the Shurpanakha's lust for Rama and its immediate consequences, it forms a engrossing story in itself. It's a standalone story. So that, in that sense also, it is very important. In the Valmiki Ramayana, the Shurpanakha episode occurs in 2 sargas, 17th and 18th sarga of the Aranyakanda, very briefly described in 56 shlokas, I counted. It is a very crisp and up to the point story without any frills. But Kambaramayana, there is a Surpanagai Padalam in Kambaramayana, and it has 140 verses. And as you all know, the Kamban's verses are longer than the Anushtup Chandas shlokas of Valmiki. So it makes each verse of Kamban is longer than Valmiki, and there are 140 verses. Then you can imagine how he has expanded the story. So in Kambaramayana, the play of human emotions in this episode is explored in a much wider and much deeper manner. And of course, it is made into a grand drama by the masterly Tamil poetry of Kamban. Perhaps it is for this reason that Ranganji asked me to take up the Kambaramayana narration in this talk as a main point, because there is very less in Valmiki Ramayana to explore regarding the Shurpanakha episode. It's very direct and blunt. So I will proceed on those lines. But before that, there is one caution. So why there is this narrative difference between Valmiki and Kamban, or Valmiki or any other poet, later poet? I think it's very important for us to understand. The Adikavya of Valmiki, as we all know, is the primary source of Ramayana. Absolutely no doubt about it. It is the most authentic. Chronologically, it belongs to the post-Vedic era. It's very ancient. And Kamban's Tamil Kavya, in contrast, it was composed in 12th century CE during the era of Kulothunga Chola. So just see the time gap between Valmiki and Kamban. In fact, the time gap between Valmiki and Kamban is much larger than the time gap between us and Kamban, which is just 800-900 years old. So that this can be said with many other poets in relation to Valmiki. You take Kalidasa or even Tulsidas, who is post-Kamban. So obviously, in all the kavyas that were composed later to Valmiki, we always have some characteristics. This has been pointed by many scholars. I'll read out one interesting quote especially regarding Kamban. Kamban's diction is conventionally poetic, full of stock phrases, extended similes and metaphors. It has repetitive allusions. These are all literary terms. Okay, pathetic fallacies. I'm not going to explain it. It's a literary term. And poetic conceits. Unlike Valmiki, Kamban has a sense of drama of almost every particular episode and exploits every occasion that has a theatrical potential, often by the use of dialogic mode. In contrast, Valmiki is almost deadpan in his narration. His diction sparse, cut to the bone. The explosive emotional content of any situation, totally under control of the poet. It is inferential rather than explicit. So Valmiki's poetry, in this sense, is like Tamil Sangam poetry, very subtle and totally in control. So, but Kamban's poetry is not like that. It is flamboyant, it is exuberant. It is like, you see the same lady clad in a very simple cotton saree just after her bath in the early morning with just one strand of jasmine flower. And the same lady in the evening when he goes to a wedding with silk saree and fully adorned with all the jewels and full makeup and everything. That Kamban's poetry is like this, and the Valmiki's poetry is like that. It is the same girls, and both of them are beautiful, but different kind of beauty. Okay, so Kamban is a romantic poet, and Valmiki is a classical one in literary terms. This is the difference. So now, I won't go into much of the analysis mode like the previous talk. Initially, I will just touch upon it in the end, but I will just give you some glimpses of Kamban's narration. Since all of you know Valmiki's narration somewhat quite well, I will directly go into Kamban. So all my translations are based on this book, the Kamba Ramayana. I hope most of you can understand some Tamil. So I will quote some Tamil poetry in course of the talk. But I relied on this book, Kamba Ramayana, very good translation. Okay, it's an abridged translation, not full, but still pretty much readable and usable. So when Shurpanakha enters the forest, so the Valmiki abruptly just he says Shurpanakha goes and talks to Rama. Rama is living like a tapasvi. But Kamban creates a big scene there. So Shurpanakha is just walking around, and when she comes there, Rama and Sita, both of them, are in a very romantic mood. So they are actually sitting on the banks of the Kaveri. So a nice elephant is going around here and there, and it's a majestic walk, the walk of the Gaja. So Sita keeps gazing that element and looks at Rama with a side glance saying, "Oh, you walk like this elephant." And then there are swans in the river, they are swimming. So Rama looks at those swans, points to them, and then he points to Sita. So they are enjoying their mutual love in a romantic setting like this. At that time, Shurpanakha enters. Okay, so and then they go away, and so actually she doesn't enter. He starts the chapter with this. Okay, the Shurpanakha Padalam starts like this when they both are enjoying, and then they go away. Sita goes inside the Parnashala to do his work, and Rama is outside, and that's when Shurpanakha comes. And first she sees Rama, and then she starts thinking, is he Shiva? Is he Brahma? None of the characteristics are seen in this person. He looks like a human, or is he Manmatha? But I have heard that Manmatha has already been burnt by Shiva. So has he done some second penance to get into a human body like this? What am I seeing? Such a beauty, such handsomeness. She is awestruck on seeing Rama. And when Rama is walking, and while Rama is walking, there is some movement created, right? So this is what she thinks. உடுத்த நீர் ஆடையள் உருவச் செவ்வியள் பிடித்தரு நடையினள் பெண்மை நன்று. Oh, this woman called Earth, she is wearing sea as her garment. Her feminineness is so good. Why? இவன் அடித்தளம் தீண்டலின் அவனுக்கு அம்மயிர் பொடித்தன போலும் இப்புல் என்று உண்ணுவாள். How lucky is this woman called Earth? This rare being, this handsome man, he walks on her. She should be trembling with joy inside. And it is the goosebumps out of that joy that has appeared as grass on her body. எவன் செய்யக் கருதி இவ்வழகை எய்தினோன் அவம் செய்ய திரு உடம்பு அலசன் ஓர்க்கின்றான். Oh, such handsome man, why is he tormenting his body like this, doing penance? Because he looks like a tapasvi, right? So she thinks, அவம் செய்ய திரு உடம்பு அலச நோர்க்கின்றான், நவம் செய்ய தகைய இந்நளின நாட்டத்தன். Every time I look at him, it looks new. நவம் செய்ய தகைய, நவ means new. இந்நளின நாட்டத்தன், தவம் செய்ய, தவம் செய்த, தவம் என்கின்றாள். She thinks, what penance has penance done so that he performs penance? You know, so the tapasya has done some great tapasya so that Rama becomes a tapasvi. So this is what she thinks. No matter, to be wooed by such beauty which does not satiating, no matter how long one feasts on it. So as you see, Kamban never tires of describing Rama Saundaryam. Every opportunity he gets, he will start describing Rama Saundaryam, even much more than Valmiki. So when Shurpanaka sees Rama, he doesn't miss the chance. You know, in fact, some of the best descriptions of Rama Saundaryam are in the words of Shurpanaka in the Ramayana. Then she thinks, அதிகம் நின்று ஒளிரும் இவ்வழகன் வாழ் முகம் புதியவள் தாமரை பூவை ஒப்பதோ. This handsome man's face, is it like lotus? தோளொடு தோள் செலத் தொடர்ந்து நோக்குறின் நீளிய அல்ல கண் நெடிய மார்பு, she says. So you start looking at தோளொடு தோள் செலத் தொடர்ந்து நோக்குறின் நீளிய அல்ல கண். Our eyes are not so long that we can see it, they can see both his shoulders. Why? Because his chest is so broad and so generous that at a time my eye can see only one of his shoulders and imagine the other shoulder. See, now this is similar to Tolgandar, Tole Gandar. So when the people of Mithila see Rama, this is how they feel. And in the Yuddhakanda, Kamban uses the same metaphor. When Kumbhakarna sees, he says, Tolodu tol sela todandu nokkurin naal pala kaliyumal. I see his first shoulder today, the next shoulder I can see tomorrow. It is so beautiful that I can keep looking at it all the time. So there are many verses where Shurpanaka keeps admiring Rama's Saundaryam in Kamban. This is different from Valmiki. So in Valmiki, he just gives contrasts, very quick, nice, great contrasts of both Rama and Shurpanaka. Sumukham Durmukhi Ramam Vrittamadhyam Mahodari Vishalaksham Virupakshi Sukhesham Tamramurdhaja Nyayavrittam Sudurvritta Priyam Apriyadarshana. Beautiful. Just contrasting words. But Kamban doesn't stop with this. He greatly describes Rama's Saundaryam. But he doesn't spare any verse to describe the crudeness of Shurpanaka. Why? Because now Shurpanaka is going to fall in love with Rama. So Kamban does not want to really describe her crudeness in so many verses. That's the reason. So again in Valmiki, just to give you a quick recap. So she appears in front of Rama in the Rakshasi form. That's what many people have interpreted it. So when Rama looks at it, he says, Tomhi tavan manognyangi Rakshasi pratibhasime. With lovely limbs. Are you a Rakshasi? Is one interpretation. The other version is, are you really a Rakshasi? You don't appear to be one. So if you take the first interpretation, it gives way to a reading that she appeared in the Rakshasi form. If you take the second reading, it gives you an interpretation that she actually changed her form, appeared in a beautiful way. Because if you take the first thing, it would appear that Rama is really ridiculing her. Oh, you are so beautiful, Rakshasi. It's like that. So with that word play, I think the scholars have kind of interpreted it in both ways. So either Rama is poking fun, or he is really admiring her beauty because she appeared in a beautiful form. So Kamban has taken a cue from this. So he takes the second reading and he says that she is appearing as a beautiful woman. And in Valmiki, she just comes straight to Rama and says that, I am here wishing you to be my husband. I will devour you. I will eat you away. Not eat you. Sorry, I will eat your brother and your wife here if you don't heed to my request. She directly gives this intimidation. And then she is about to pounce on Sita. So she says Sita is Nirnatodari. She is the one with a flat belly, ugly woman. Why are you with her? She says that. And then Rama advises her to go to Lakshmana, right? So Lakshmana also spurns her. Then when she is about to attack Sita, Rama orders Lakshmana that you disfigure this Rakshasi, and then the episode ends. But in Kamban, it's slightly different. So when she keeps seeing this Rama's Saundarya, some kind of love emerges in her heart. Nittamum paravayum kuruga, nெஞ்சிடை கோத்த அன்பு உணர்விடை குளிப்ப மீக்கொள ஏத்தவும் பரிவினொன்று ஈகலான் பொருள் காத்தவன் புகழ் எனத் தேயும் கற்பினாள். Kamban. The flood of love in her heart, greater than any river or tide in the sea, it submerged her sense, and her modesty grew less and less. See, even she is a Rakshasi, she has some modesty that is there in every woman. Okay, but that modesty grew less and less. How it became less? Like a miser's fame. A miser doesn't give out his money at all, so his fame keeps diminishing, though his money keeps increasing. So like that, her modesty kept reducing. வான்தனில் வரைந்ததோர் மாதர் ஓவியம் போன்றனள் நின்றனள் புழுங்கும் நெஞ்சினள். Her heart scorched and dry. தோன்றல்தன் சுடர்மணி தோளில் நாட்டங்கள் ஊன்றினள் பறிக்கவோர் ஊற்றம் பெற்றினள். She fixed her gaze on the hero Rama's shoulders, but unable to pull it back. Then Shurpanakha transforms herself into a dazzling beauty with a mantra. She knows the mantra of Lakshmi, so she transforms herself. திங்களில் சிறந்தொளிர் முகத்தள் செவ்வியள் பொங்கொளி விசும்பினில் பொலியத் தோன்றினாள், says the poet. The frightening Rakshasi, how she looks. திங்களில் சிறந்து ஒளிர் முகத்தள். She gained a face brighter than the moon that glows in the whole. பொங்கு ஒளி விசும்பினில் பொலியத் தோன்றினாள். Like the full moon comes and gladdens everyone in the sky. It comes in the sky. Her face got transformed. And then there are several verses with which Kamban describes this. So she puts a name for herself, Kamavalli. Okay? Because Rakshasi Kamarupini comes in Valmiki. So Kamarupini means someone who can transform her form at will. So Kamban takes a cue and gives a name for this, demon turned damsel. So he gives a name Kamavalli to her. And some of these verses of Kamban are very popular. You would have heard it in many Pattimandabam discourses. If you grew up in Tamil Nadu. Panjiyolir Vinjikulir Pallavama Nunga Senjaviya Kanjam Nimir Siradiya Anjolila Mangayana Annamena Minnum Vanjiyana Nanjamena Vanjamagal Vandal. So this is Shurpanakha walking. So this is not like a Rakshasi walking. It's not like Dada Buddha like that. So she walks how a young, slender girl walks along. In fact, the beauty of this Tamil verse is that it does not have what is called Vallinam. See, Vallinam means hard sounds of Tamil. This entire verse actually has only Mellinam, which has soft sounds. So she transformed herself into such a soft woman while coming in front of Rama. So, tripping on reddened lotus fields, she came. Senjaviya Kanjam Nimir Siradial. How is she? How is her form? Amjolila Mangayana, a shimmering peacock. Annamena, a gliding swan. Minnum Vanjiyana, lightning creeper. What we call Vidyullata in Sanskrit. Vanjamagal Vandal. She came like a witching siren. So she is still a witch. Okay? but she came like a poison, Kamban says. And then, அவ்வையின் அவ்வாசை தன் அகத்துடைய அந்நாள் செவ்வி முகம் முன்னி அடி செங்கையின் இறைஞ்சா வெவ்விய நெடுங்கண் அயல் வீசி அயல் பாரா நவ்வியின் ஒதுங்கி இறை நாணி அயல் நின்றாள். So her heart filled with love, she came closer, she looked at Rama's face, and then she touched his feet, because she is going to make a love proposal now. And before that, she touched his feet, and then she stood aside like a shy fawn. Fawn means she deer, penmon. So she stood like that, and then she just gave a sidelong glance to Rama with her eyes, which were like spear, ayil visi. And then she blessingly introduced herself, a formal introduction. Then Rama says, Tidil varavaganin thiruvaravu seyoy, yad peyar yad kulam, all this comes. So then Rama says, come, welcome, because some guest has come into Parnashala, right? So he says, welcome to you, woman. So who are you? Why are you roaming around this forest? Please introduce yourself, Rama asks. Then she, in a very bombastic way, she introduces. There are many verses. It would take time, so I won't cite them. Puvilon pudalvan maindan pudalvi, சேவலோன் துணைவனான செங்கையோன் தங்கை, திக்கின் மாயலாம் தொலைத்து வெள்ளி மலை எடுத்து உலகம் மூன்றும் காவலோன் பின்னை காமவல்லியாம் கன்னி, she says. So I am the I have come in Brahma's lineage, Brahma's descent. I am the sister of both the Kubera and Ravana. Ravana, who has lifted Shiva's mountain, and who is the ruler of all the three worlds. I am his sister, she says. Then Rama asks, oh, okay. So you are the sister of a Rakshasa. Then how come you look so beautiful and so slender? Innocently Rama asks this question. Then she says, தூயவன் பணியாமுன்னும் சொல்லுவாள், அம்மாயவல் அரக்கரோடு வாழ்வினை மதிக்கலாதேன், ஆயுறு மனத்தேனாகி அறம் தலை நிற்பதானேன், தீவினை தீய நோற்று தேவரில் பெற்றது என்றாள். Then she said, yeah, I am born of the Rakshasa descent, but I hate their ways. I don't like those rogues. I detest their deceit and violence. Having chosen good and rejected evil, I did lot of penances. I expiated all my past sins, and I obtained this beautiful form. That's what you see here. Then she says. Rama keeps nodding when she says all this. தாமுரு காமத்தன்மை தாங்களே உரைப்பதென்பது ஆமெனல் ஆவதென்றால் அருங்குல மகளிர்க்கம்மா. See, all well-born women, samskari women who are born in a good family, it is not proper for them to declare the love they feel. So she starts like this, So this is how see, here you see the difference between Valmiki and Kamban. So in Kamban, in Valmiki, she just comes and bluntly says that. But here, there is so much of, seduction, play involved. So she really comes as any girl, if she really wants to woo a boy that she really likes. So how she will come, how she will try to impress that boy, and how she will propose to her. All these things you see in Kamban's narration. Then she says, it is not proper for a girl to, give her heart, particularly a girl born in such a virtuous family like mine. It's not proper. But still, what to do? ஏமுறும் உயிர்க்கு நோவேன் என் செய்கேன் யாரும் இல்லேன் காமனென்று ஒருவன் செய்யும் வன்மையை காத்தி என்றாள். Who is there for me? I am enamored. I can't send some messenger to you in this forest. I don't have anyone. So I myself have come. I pine. Please save me from Kama, she says. Save me from Kama's arrows. So this is how she talks. Then Rama says, oh, okay, that's what you have come for. So now here we have heard of Rama's qualities as Purva Bhashi, Mita Bhashi, all that. Sundari, Marabirkotta Tonmayin Tunivitandral. Oh, girl, it's very nice that you have given your proposal, but what you say is not according to tradition. Why? Andanar Pavai ni, Yan Arasaril Vanden. See, you are from a Brahmana descent. I am a Kshatriya. So what you say is not, even when you propose your love, it should be according to tradition. And what you say is not in accordance to tradition. Then she says, no, please don't reject right away. My own parents are a mixed pair, So it is a Rishi and a Rakshasi pair, Vishwavasu and my mother. And then she says, there is something called Gandharva Vivaha, which is outlined in the Vedas. It has the sanction of the Vedas. You please marry me according to that. And then she says, what will happen if you do that? All these powerful Rakshasas will become your allies. And they will fall at your feet. And she says all this with a real interest of a young girl, trying to impress her potential lover. Rama keeps listening to all this. And then with a mocking smile on his lips, he says, Nirudardam arulum petreen, nin nalam petreen, ninnodu oruvarum selvattu yandum urayavum petreen. Ondro, Tirunagar தீர்ந்த பின்னர் செய்தவம் பயந்தது. என்ன வரிசிலை வடித்த தோளான் வாழ் எயிறு இலங்க நக்கான். So all 32 teeth of Rama are visible now. He is giving a broad smile and says this, oh girl, the grace of Rakshasas I am getting, no less. The joy of life being inseparable with you. How many boons my penance I have obtained. Since I left Ayodhya, what great fortune. So he said all this laughing. So when this conversation is going on, Sita enters. Yeah, it is at that moment Sita enters. See, look at the drama that Kamban creates. So Rama is, it's a long conversation going on between a stranger girl who has come to the Parnashala. Rama is just standing there talking to her. Sita enters. Pennidai arasi, devar petranal varattal, pinnar mannidai maniyin vanda vanjiye polval vandal. At that moment, she appeared as if she were a gift from the gods. Pennidai arasi, devar petranal varattal, mannidai maniyin vanda vanji. A queen of heaven sprung from the earth. Mannidai maniyin vanda vanji. The rare jewel-like Sita, she entered. So again, Kamban doesn't spare any chance describing Sita Saundaryam also. So wherever anyone, even when Ravana sees Sita, so he says, ஏயவள் மணிநிற மேனி காணுதற்கு ஆயிரம் நாட்டங்கள் இல்லையே என்று அல்லல் எழுதினான். So Ravana sees Sita, he says, I have only 20 eyes to see her. Like Indra, I don't have 1,000 eyes to see and appreciate her beauty. So this is how even Ravana talks. So here, so when Sita enters, Shurpanaka just sees her. She gets Sita darshanam. So what she saw, Kamban says, மீன் சுடர் விண்ணும் மண்ணும் விரிந்த போர் அரக்கர் என்னும் கான் சுட முளைத்த கற்பின் கனலியை கண்ணில் கண்டாள். She didn't see Sita. What did she see? That what kind of person? The foolish, insensitive carnivore Rakshasi. She saw before her a flood of light. A flood of light issuing from the flower of chastity. Karpin kanaliyai. And what is this light? The fiery light that would one day burn down the forest of the Rakshasa clan itself. Arakkar ennum kaan suda mulaitha karpin kanaliyai kannil kandal. And then Shurpanaka stands transfixed, gazing Sita's divine beauty. And then she thinks, oh, this is handsome man. She cannot be married. How can he be a married man? I saw him. I fall in love with him. He must be a bachelor. So this girl who is now coming here, she is also like a intruder and imposter like me. You know, பொன்னைப் போல் பொருவும் மேனி பூவைப் போல் வண்ணன் இம்மின்னைப் போல் இடையாளோடும் மேவத்தாம் தகவன் அல்லன் இவளும் என்னைப் போல் இடையே வந்தாள். So she is, you know, he has come to the forest for some reason. She is also like an intruder. She is also trying to impress him. So then she says, so when Sita keeps coming near to the Rama, that moment, ஆயிடை அமுதின் வந்த அருந்ததி கற்பின் அஞ்சொல் வேயிடை தோளினாலும், chaste Sita like Arundhati, when whose shoulders are slender like bamboo, வேயிடை தோளினாலும் வீரனை சேரும் வேளை, when she keeps coming near Rama, நீ இடை வந்ததென்னை நிருதர்தம் பாவை என்ன காய் எரி அணைய கள்ள உள்ளத்தாள் கதித்தலோடும். How dare you, a Rakshasi, you are coming near him. So Shurpanakha talks like this. Then Sita is very afraid. அஞ்சினள் அஞ்சி அன்னம் மின்னிடை அலச ஓடி பஞ்சின் மெல் அடிகள் நோவ பதைத்தனள் பவளத்தின் வள்ளி என்ன குஞ்சரமனைய வீரன் குவவு தோள் தழுவிக்கொண்டாள். Then, terrified, her waist shaking, Sita comes and she hugs Rama's shoulders like a coral creeper that embraces a rain cloud. Again, Sita Rama Saundaryam, also Kamban keeps describing in many words. Then Rama warns Shurpanakha that till now Lakshmana is not in the scene in Kambaramayanam. Okay, he is somewhere because he is always wandering around in the forest, seeing who is where and all that. So Lakshmana is not even there in the scene till now. So Rama warns, see, you have only seen two people here. There is a very furious brother whom I have. If he sees you, you know, I can't assure what will happen. And then Rama and Sita, they go away into the Parnashala. That's it. And then the night falls. So in Kamban, it is a 2-day story because he doesn't want to finish the story so fast. Okay? Then the night falls. So Shurpanakha retracts. And then அழிந்த சிந்தையலாய் அயர்வாழ்வையின் முழிந்த காம கடுங்கனல் மூண்டதால் வழிந்த நாகத்தின் வன் தொலை வாழையிற்று இழிந்த கார் விடம் ஏறுவதென்னவே. In the night, she languished, Shurpanakha, her heart broken. The love within her, the lust within her, spread like a poison from the fangs of an angry cobra. See, the love grew, so he could have said the love grew like a creeper or it grew like a tree. But see the metaphor Kamban gives. It spread through her like a poison from the fangs of an angry cobra. நாகத்தின் வன் தொலை வாழ் எயிற்று. See how the poison climbs in the body of the cobra. That's how the lust spread through her body. And then the poets describe the sulking of Shurpanakha. It is not really a viraha vedana. It is a kama vedana born out of lust. She can't sleep. She can't sit. You know, the lust on Rama is occupying her mind and body and everything. So she suffers a lot. In fact, Kamban describes it in very, very graphic terms. And the morning came, and still she was tormented with the unappeased lust. So immediately she rushes to the hermitage, early morning. See, that's how it is. And then she comes in the early morning, scene, so beautiful. See, Kamban becomes a cinematographer here. Every scene he describes so beautifully. Vandu nokkinal வள்ளல் போய் ஒரு மணி தடத்தில் சந்தி நோக்கினன் இருந்தது கண்டனள். She comes to the hermitage. She just puts her glance. How is the view? So the Parnashala is there, and away Rama is doing her Sandhya Vandanam. It's early morning. ஒரு மணி தடத்தில் சந்தி நோக்கினன் இருந்தது கண்டனள். And then she sees a semi-dark Parnashala, and she sees Sita's figure there. Okay, but she doesn't see Lakshmana on the other side of the Parnashala guarding Sita. Okay? So she just sees Sita in semi-darkness, Rama away doing Sandhya Vandana. தம்பி இந்து நோக்கிய நுதலியை காத்து அயல் இருந்த கந்தம் நோக்கிய சாலையில் இருந்தது காணாள். So she sees Rama, she sees Sita, but not Lakshmana. With Rama away for her morning rites, she is seeing Sita alone, and full of malaise, she begins to trail Sita. The moment Lakshmana hears these footsteps, Nilladi ena kaduginan, pennana ninaindan, Nilladi, stop, stop. Lakshmana comes running. He gives her a kick. He pulls out his dagger. And then, of course, Mookum Kadum Vem Muran Mulai Kangalum, Murayal Poki, Pokiya Sinatudum Purikural Vittan. So he cut off her nose, ears, and nipples. Muran Mulai Kangalum. So Kamban, there are some folk versions of Ramayana in Tamil Nadu, where Lakshmana cuts nose, ears, and also nipples of Shurpanaka. So if you visit Srivilliputur Andal temple, if you watch the pillar sculptures, there is one sculpture where there is a Rama sculpture in one pillar. In the next pillar, Lakshmana with a drawn sword, the sword placed on the breast of a Rakshasi and with her nose cut off. So this version of the story, it looks like it that's how it was popular in Tamil Nadu. So Kamban has put that. And then, so if we see the difference here in Kamban, the disfiguring happens. It's an instant action born out of rage from Lakshmana, because he is battling out the intruder. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the backstory at all. He just see a Rakshasi leaping towards Sita. Immediately he comes and cuts all this. It's his own decision. Okay? So this is very important. Instead of a direct order from Rama, how it is in Valmiki. Because it shows how great care and concern Kamban has for the characterization of Rama. See, he can show Lakshmana as doing some very fiery things in a rage, but not Rama. Okay? So that's how he changed this narrative this way. And in the inimical talk session, there was a discussion about the quantum of punishment for the crime. What kind of punishment should be given for what kind of crime, right? Rama is well aware of that. What was Shurpanaka's fault? She just came and proposed to Rama. So why should Rama order Lakshmana to just cut her nose and ears as a very small crime and such a big punishment? See, that kind of question may arise. But Kamban has never given room for even such a question to arise. So he has made Lakshmana do this himself as an instant reaction in self-defense. So this is a very important difference here. And then Shurpanaka starts a very big lamentation, what we call Pulambal in Tamil. And these Pulambal songs are very nice. I'll just read out one. Uranerindu vizha ennai udaithurundi mookkerinda நரனிருந்து தோள் பார்க்க நான் இருந்து புலம்புவதோ கரனிருந்த வனமன்றோ இவை படவும் கடவேனோ அறனிருந்த மலையெடுத்த அண்ணாவோ அண்ணாவோ அறனிருந்த மலையெடுத்த அண்ணாவோ அண்ணாவோ பிரதர் ஓ பிரதர் அண்ணாவோ அண்ணாவோ you hefted Shiva's hill but in this forest that is Khara's domain and Nara. This is Khara's Rajyam, but a Nara, a mere man, has kicked me around, cut off my nose. All I can do is just wail and wail. Kollirum padaikum Bakaranai pol, Kuvalayatul yellirum urangudiro. I thought only Kumbhakarna was sleeping in our clan. All the Rakshasas, are all of you sleeping? Can't you hear my wails? Come to my rescue. So big lamentation. There are some 10-15 verses of this kind. And at this point, Rama comes. Okay, now Rama comes. He converses again with Shurpanaka. Lakshmana is there. He explains why her nose was cut off and all that. And then after this explanation, why did you do this? Rama asks Shurpanaka. Then she says, ஏற்றவளை வரிசிலையோன் எம்பாமுன் இகல் அரக்கி சேற்றவளை தன் கணவன் அருகிருப்ப சினம் திருகி சூற்றவளை நீர் உழக்கும் துறை கெழுநீர் வளநாடா மாற்றவளை கண்டக்கால் அழலாதோ மனம் என்றாள். She says that சேற்றவளை மாற்றவளை is a nice word Shabdalankara. Oh, hero, haven't you ever come across, even in frogs, a jealous frog, it provoked to rage at seeing another frog near her mate? So I considered you as my mate, and she is like Matravalai. She is a co-wife for me. So won't I be, will my rage boil upon seeing her? What I did was very natural. Where is the heart that is not inflamed by the sight of a co-wife? She says this. Then Rama says, see, this kind of talk, useless talk, stops this. We have come here to destroy the entire Rakshasa race. Do you know? You are a thorn in this holy forest. Rama warns her, but the Rakshasi, so she is still madly in love. See, in Kamban, even after her nose cut off and all this happened, she is still madly in love. Madly in lust, rather. But again she tries to woo Rama. Oh, you have come here to destroy Rakshasas? That's very good. I know all their ways. Pambinkal Pambariyum. Only a snake knows how the other snake goes. I will be a very big help to you in your mission. He says, Mapporil Purangapeen, Van Sumandu Selavallen, Tupola Kanivaga Palavum Suvayudaya Taravallen, Kaporai Kathi Ni Karudiyadu Taruven, Ippupolum Melliyalal, Porulenno. See, I can be of big help to you in your fight with Rakshasas. I can protect you in a fight. I will carry you to the sky so you can fight better with the Rakshasas. Huh? Why hate those who are there to guard you? I can give you whatever you want. This fragile flower, useless. What can she give you? So she points to Sita. Then she says, and Rama keeps looking at her. What happened to this Rakshasi? Then she says, see, you cut my nose off. Now I look very ugly. Okay? Bhagyamundi enin adanal penmaikor paludundo mekkuyarum nedumukku mangayarku migayandro. See, if a woman has a very long nose, everyone keeps making fun of her, Nilamukku. Like that. So that's why you have cut off my nose, so that it is cut to size. And then she says, likes and dislikes are all in the mind. I can fashion a new nose for myself. You accept my love. My whole life is yours. And then the whole thing is over. The drama is getting over. Foolish woman, stop at once. Otherwise we will kill you. Then Lakshmana says, Rama says this, and Lakshmana starts drawing his arrows. And then Shurpanakha thinks that, okay, if we stay more, these people are going to kill us, and she ran away. So this is how the Shurpanakhai Patalam of, I have spent a lot of time giving you a glimpse of how it is in Kamban. So now I am not going to get into analysis here. So one thing I want to point out, the full circle of Shurpanakha's one-sided negative love. That's what Kamban has portrayed here. So first there is the enthusiastic build-up. Unlike Valmiki, the Shurpanakha seeing Rama's beauty, she herself becoming a beautiful woman, all that very, very enthusiastic build-up. And then her passion, very possessive and very perverted. There is both possessiveness as well as perversion in her, in the way she expresses her lust or love to Rama. And then the agony of loss, when she knows she is not going to get Rama. The desperation, and the desperation turning into vengeance, and then she plotting to seek revenge. So this whole gamut of emotions Kamban has built up in a very, very absorbing style. So if you really want to analyze Virodha Bhava from these aspects, so we can go into each of these. So how a negative one-sided love, it is a play of that. That's what we see in Shurpanakha. It is certainly not a very prescriptive form of love for anyone, but such things happen. We have a lot of examples in the real history, real life, and even among some of the people whom we know, such a thing happens. So another thing about Kamban's narration, if we see this, so it is not exactly like Valmiki, but it does not anyway affect the overall integrity of the Kavya. See, Kamban has just taken this episode, one episode, he has deviated from Valmiki to make it more like a Navarasa Nataka. If you really see, all rasas are there in this. There is Hasya Rasa, Karuna Rasa, even Bibhatsa Rasa, and everything. So he has made it into a Navarasa Nataka, this one single episode. And with that, so this way, so it's not like changing a main narrative of Valmiki, but taking just one episode and embellishing it in a very grand manner. So this we see as a quality of Kamban compared to many other Ramakatha writers who change the whole course of the story, who bring in some new things like Maya Sita episode and things like that, right? Kamban never does such kind of things in this whole epic, but the individual episode, he takes it and dramatizes it. And with that, I end my talk.
Just to add a little bit of a small thing. In Ramayana also, here Valmiki Maharshi says, Shurpanaka with the rage, she charges towards Sita.
Right.
That is when Rama stops her and asks Lakshmana to, give her own punishment and stuff.
Yes.
So that is also beautifully explained. Kamban also has taken it.
Yes.
Just want to add it.
Yeah, true.
Sitaram, very vivid, lively description. I think you spoke about how Surpanaka's entire approach. I think you were talking about how persuasive she was also. I mean, towards the end, even after getting disfigured,
Yes.
I think how she was even then hoping that he will still accept. One of the thoughts when I was listening to you was also, especially in this Virodha Bhava conversations, is also to be aware of these kind of temptations or loopholes which might be possible. One of the key takeaways for us, one of the learnings for us is it could happen in different forms for us in our real life also. In terms of this elaboration, is Kamban also trying to convey something like that? Beware of these kind of things at various points of time. That's also a caution. Is that also coming through in some spaces?
See, yeah, those kind of, see, we can always look at every literature that we study as what is there in it for me, kind of lesson oriented approach. But, I am, okay, literature is one of my primary passions. Let me confess that, rather than things like self-improvement or personal management or management, these kind of things. Those are a bit distant for me. Literature is my primary passion. So what I think is that the Kavi has its own play of his feelings and emotions. It is just his vivid imagination and how much he immerses in the epic. So obviously before writing his epic, Kamban is immersed in Valmiki. And as Ranganji rightly said, Kalidasa has already portrayed Surpanaka as a beautiful woman. So it's very much possible that Kamban studied Kalidasa also. Because Kalidasa was such a great Kavi all over India. His fame was spread. So in Tamil Nadu, it's very much probable that Kamban studied Kalidasa also and took cues from his Kavya to this. So see, it is not just this episode. I read out that quote at the very start, right? So Kamban always looks for opportunity to dramatize every episode. I mean, even the Vali Rama Samvada, Kamban takes it into a slightly different plane than Valmiki. Okay, and even episodes of Ayodhya Kanda or even Guha, the Guha episode, the Guha Bharata Milan, Kamban dramatizes and peaks. I mean, he always takes every one of these episodes into a peak of emotion. So here also, I think he saw a wonderful opportunity. I think that's what is the inspiration. But what you say, that's also true. So, Rama, so had it been any other hero, it's very much possible that he would have fallen for the seduction of Shurpanaka. Because even some great heroes, we always keep reading about honey trap, right? It's a famous word of late. It's very much probable that in that angle also it can be looked at. Because in Valmiki, she is not trying to honey trap Rama, right? So she, as a Rakshasi, very crudely she approaches and proposes him. but here she comes like this. So yeah, there are lessons to be learned from that, though that may not be the intent of the poet.
That's actually a very, very nice way of looking at things. So that in that way, ultimately it also helps us to understand though such traps are there,
Yes.
Rama is not trapped.
Yes.
So that is also learning.
Yes.
And Anna used to say you were a very immersive Kamba Ramayana scholar. So after listening to that entire thing, we could see it. So just one small request: of all the similes, of all the literature things, the lovable things you have read in it, any one particular simile or anything from any Ghattam you want to share? Not related to this topic, but which
Kambaram.
touched your heart in
No,
Kambara?
there is not one. See,
There
there
should
are,
be a lot.
it is
So
like
any
a
one of-
ocean of in this itself, that tavam sayat tavam say the tavam, I say, that was a great metaphor. There is one more in the Midilai Kachi Padalam at the start. So Rama and Lakshmana, this is in Balakandam. Okay. So Rama and Lakshmana are walking towards the Mithila with Vishwamitra, okay, two young boys. So as they approach, again, unlike Kamban, as I said, he is like a cinematographer, right? So everything, so when somebody is actually approaching a spot, he first starts describing the landscape from how they look. So it is like as if he is describing Rama and Lakshmana are traveling, a camera is also traveling with them. So whatever comes in front. So Kamban actually gives a narration. So Rama or Lakshmana are walking. The first thing that they see are the flags fluttering in the big, so the entry point of the Mithila Nagari, right? So in every great city in those days, so when you enter a city, the flags will be fluttering. The flags will signify the symbol of the king. So how the flags fluttering, how does it look like? So Kamban gives a description there. Mayyaru malarin நீங்கி யாம் செய் மாதவத்தின் வந்து அச்செய்யவள் இருந்தாள் என்று செழுமணி கொடிகள் என்னும் கைகளை நீட்டி அந்த கடிநகர் கமலச் செங்கண் ஐயனை ஒல்லை வா என்று அழைப்பதே போன்றதம்மா. So what does this mean? Yam sei Madhavatin. So the city thinks, the city of Mithila thinks, I have done great penance. And because of that, Mahalakshmi, she has left her spotless, blemishless lotus flower and she is now residing in my city. Mayyaru malarin நீங்கி யாம் செய் மாதவத்தின் வந்து செய்யவள் இருந்தாள். So now already Mahalakshmi is in my city. So you are coming. So please come and take her. Like that, the flags are like the hands of the city. Okay? செய்யவள் இருந்தாள் என்று செழுமணி கொடிகள் என்னும் கைகளை நீட்டி அந்த கடிநகர் கமலச் செங்கண் ஐயனை ராமா ஒல்லை வா, ப்ளீஸ் கம் இன்சைட் என்று அழைப்பதே போன்றதம்மா. It was as if the city with its hands is inviting Rama inside. So this is another